Hello, and welcome to lesson 1.7, which is all about mixtures. By now, you should have made your first mixture of concrete, and so hopefully, you have a little idea of what mixtures are. But we want to define some terms and talk about them in more detail. First, basically, what a mixture is mixtures are made up of two or more different substances. So, two or more things mixed together is a mixture. Um, Sometimes a mixture will have physical properties that are different from their components. So the two things that mix together, when they're together, might be different from the two items. Most mixtures can be separated back out into their separate components using some physical process, right? Like if I have some salt water, that's a mixture, right? I can separate that out. I evaporate off the water, the salt is left. I can collect the water as I'm evaporating it if I want, but I can separate that mixture back into its two components, salt and water. You can't always do that, but frequently you can. Another mixture. Last night I had beef stew for dinner. So that's a mixture, right? But I can mix. I can take out the potatoes. I can take out the meat. I can take out the carrots. I can take out the onions. I can separate it into its different components. There are a couple of types of mixtures. I feel like I want this to be smaller. Yeah, that might work. So we're going to talk about homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures are visibly indistinguishable from each other. So like I said, the salt water. You can't see the difference between the salt and the water. When you look at it, that just looks all like one thing. Salt mixed with water. And that is a solid salt mixed in a liquid, obviously. Steel is another mixture. It is a combination of a couple of different metals. It's homogeneous. You can't tell the difference. When you look at something that is steel, you just see steel. You don't see all the different parts. And then oxygen in the air is another example of a homogeneous mixture. You can't tell the nitrogen from the oxygen from the other particles in the air just by looking at it. Like look around right now, there's air all around you. You can't tell the difference. So those are homogeneous mixtures where you can't tell the difference. They just look like one thing. Heterogeneous mixtures now look like different things. So you can see the different components. Sometimes, like it says here, the particles will settle if it's allowed to sit. And suspensions are an example. So a suspension, you might get a medicine that has a solid in a liquid. You have to shake it before you use it. That's a suspension. Again, that solid will settle. You can sometimes see dust in the air or pollution in the air. Right? That is heterogeneous. You can see the dust in the air. And if you look at sand up close, you can tell that it is heterogeneous. You can see the different parts. There's the different pieces. Sometimes you have to look at it real close, but you can see the different pieces. My beef stew, that's a heterogeneous mixture because when you look at it, you can see the potatoes, the carrots. You can tell the difference between all the different pieces. That makes it a heterogeneous mixture. Oops, I didn't want to go onto that page. Special mixtures called colloids is when you have large molecules of one substance mixed through something else. So the easiest way to explain them is by looking at examples. Milk, blood, shaving cream. So milk is large pieces of fat, for lack of a better term, mixed in the solution, right? So, and how much? 2%, 1%, right? You have more or less. But they're suspended in the liquid. Milk is a homogeneous mixture because you can't see the difference. It's a homogeneous colloid. Blood's another one, right? Like the red blood cells are quite a bit bigger than the plasma and all the other stuff. So they're suspended in that liquid. But those are some examples of colloids. So that's just some quick information about mixtures. Your assignment for this section is to do a lab. So you'll be separating some mixtures. So that is what's up for you next.